फुटबॉल ब्लडी हेल में स्वागत है। आपने बहुत पूछा हमारे पास्ट लाइव्स पे भी कि इंडियन फुटबॉल के बारे में क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे इतना। एंड ऑलवेज टोल्ड यू एक दिन आएगा बात करेंगे जब भी मैंने खुद को ज़्यादा एडुकेट किया है। हम तीन हैं यहाँ पे। ऑब्वियसली अमोक को तो आप जानते होंगे, बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से मुंबई सिटी एफसी के जो लाइव करते हैं। अनुज पहले एक्स मुंबई सिटी एफसी 7 years ऑलमोस्ट वहाँ पे। तो आई वोंट से गिव अस एनी इनसाइड टिप्स और लीक्स, लेकिन अगर जो आपको चाहिए कि कोई नॉलेजेबल बात करे तो इन दोनों से मेरे ख्याल से इन दोनों को छोड़ के और कोई ज़्यादा तो है नहीं इन माई सराउंडिंग। गाइज, नॉट बीटिंग अराउंड द बुश एट ऑल, ठीक है। शैम बॉल है वो सब तो हम लोग ने सब पढ़ लिया है। थोड़ा गेम को छोड़ के साइड पे पूरे बड़े स्ट्रक्चर, इंडियन फुटबॉल के स्ट्रक्चर को देखेंगे, क्योंकि एंड ऑफ द डे डिस्कशन गोज बैक टू इंडियन फुटबॉल, ठीक है। ऑफ द कैमरा हम लोग ने राइटली बोला एक्सपेक्टेशंस एक्चुअली क्या थे और क्या होने चाहिए। अनुज ने मुझे एक ही चीज़ बोला कि जो स्ट्रक्चरली चेंज होने वाला है वो तो उसके बारे में बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है, बट क्या वो होगा, अगेन वी कम डाउन टू ऑल ऑफ दिस ओनली, ठीक है। Boys, either of you start off before we get into the actual discussion as it is, question wise. Was yesterday expected?
You want to start off, Anuj? अच्छा, पहले आप वाला सीन हो रहा है यहाँ पे। Firstly, Animesh, that was a very sweet intro, bro. Like वो बहुत ही apparently Anuj, nobody knows about Indian football better. I don't think that is true. I'm sure there are many people who know.
Like I said, in my atmosphere, in your
fair.
I was very careful.
अरे यार, the thing is, no, the way you asked that question, no, is very interesting, क्योंकि you said क्या कल का रिजल्ट एक्सपेक्टेड था? एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था, क्योंकि ये सेकंड स्ट्रिंग अफगानिस्तान साइड थी एंड वी वर एक्सपेक्टेड टू बीट देम इन दिस एंटायर ग्रुप। अभी कतार के साथ तो ऑब्वियसली नोबडी एक्सपेक्ट्स अ रिजल्ट अगेंस्ट देम, क्योंकि यार वो लोग खेल चुके हैं वर्ल्ड कप वगैरह, मतलब अच्छी साइड है वो। कुवैत is a team that we can expect a result against, and Afghanistan also we can expect a result against, and especially in yesterday's game ऐसे लग तो रहा था कि रिजल्ट मिल जाएगा। तो एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था रिजल्ट, दैट इंडिविजुअल रिजल्ट, बट अगर ओवरऑल होलिस्टिकली हम लोग हमारा परफॉर्मेंस देखें तो आई वुड स्टिल से यार काइंड ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेड। वी आर नॉट दैट ग्रेट अ टीम, दैट्स द रियलिटी।
No, I'll agree. I think yesterday's performance, I mean, if you just dissect that one game, obviously, like they say, right, football is not played on paper.
Yeah.
On paper, we should be beating Afghanistan home and away. 6 guaranteed points थे ये in the scheme of our World Cup qualifying group, but we come out of that with one out of 6 points. So, as a performance, as a game, obviously, काफी disappointing तो था ही, but I think what I feel, this is a culmination of a lot of mismanagement and a lot of things that are not gone right at various levels of Indian football, right? And all the way from the top. I think yesterday and largely sort of the last year-ish has been the culmination of that. And I think results बोलते हैं, results दिखते हैं, and I don't think there could be any better result than yesterday's to sort of sum up everything that is not going right with Indian football right now.
तो मैंने अमोक राइटली सेड की इंटरेस्टिंग फ्रेज ऑफ वो क्वेश्चन मैंने फेस किया था। एक्सपेक्टेड इसलिए मैंने क्यों ही बोला था कि प्रीकर्सर बोलते हैं कि सडनली अ टीम हैज अ ब्लिप एंड देन एक दो गेम जीतते हैं, फिर सडनली दे हैव अ कपल रन ऑफ बैड गेम्स। आई थिंक AFC एशिया कप, तब पब्लिक बोलेगा बहुत हार्श मत बनना क्योंकि वो ग्रुप टफ था। आई फील वहाँ पे एक पहला प्रीकर्सर था, क्योंकि हम लोग को प्रॉमिस बोला गया था कि नहीं ये 5 साल मैनेजर है, 5 साल से उसका स्टाइल दिखेगा, थोड़ा प्लेयर्स का कोहेसिवनेस दिखेगा। वो हम लोग ने देखा 30-40 मिनट एक गेम में या तीनों गेम में वो स्पेल्स रहते हैं, राइट। एंड मे बी चलो एक दो गोल आ सकते थे, अनलकी था, जो भी है। इसलिए मुझे लगता है प्रीकर्सर था कि ये शायद हमारे डायरेक्शन में नहीं जाएगा ये क्वालिफिकेशन, जो हमको लगता है. एनीवे, लाइक बोथ ऑफ यू सेड राइट, एक्सपेक्टेशंस आर नॉट अबव, राइट, सम इट अप कि हमारा जो स्टैचर है, जो अभी रैंकिंग है हमारा 122, राइट, 122. अभी बोलोगे अरे अफगानिस्तान इज स्टिल 158, ये उनका सी टीम है, क्लब्स नहीं है उनके पास, उनके प्लेयर्स के पास, they were training in Saudi Arabia, सब मालूम है. बट टू स्टार्ट ऑफ द डिस्कशन राइट, ये सब अफगानिस्तान का पॉजिटिव था कल के लिए, लेकिन हमारा 5 साल का डेवलपमेंट का क्या हो गया कि कल जैसे गेम जनवरी से डाउन टाउन इन फॉर्म, चेत्री का बैड फॉर्म नवंबर से, where it all go wrong? What do you think is that first domino कि things got here?
I
think
honestly
yeah.
again,
No,
no,
go
go for
for
it.
it. No, go for it. I feel ke Anuj, you and I are going to say the same thing, so please go for it.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm just going to piggyback on one thing that Amog started off with: expectation management. I think that is so important, and especially jab you are not a big player in a sport. This is not cricket where 15 to 10, 15 countries are playing and you are the champion. Then it's you are right to expect in कि इंडिया हर बार वर्ल्ड कप जीते. यहाँ पे we are tier 3 or lower, if there is anything lower than that. And I think where we went wrong, it's not just this January, the Asian Cup in January, or the games just preceding that. I think it is the kind of expectation management and planning that we've exposed ourselves to. Abhi last year, we qualified for the Asian Cup with 3 solid results in Kolkata. That was good, definitely, but that should have been expected because you're playing sides that are significantly lower in the rankings, if that's the measurement you want to go by. बट देन उसके बाद जो हमने वो 2 टूर्नामेंट खेले थे, इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल कप एंड द सैफ कप, एंड वेयर वी बीट a Pakistan team that had just landed on the same day, when we beat certain other lower ranked teams. There were some positives as well. I'm not denying that, but then that should not be the expectation from a team that is trying to grow. And I think I had said this in पिछली बार जब भी मैं फुटबॉल ब्लडी हेल्प पे आया था, that nations around us are growing faster. We are also growing, but nations around us are growing faster. Keeping that in mind, I think काफी सारे फैंस वो उस टाइम पे, अच्छा हम साफ कप जीत गए, हम इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल कप जीत गए, उसमें ही खुश हो रहे. एंड आई थिंक come January and now in the World Cup qualifiers, that was a reality check for us. Why this has happened is obviously don't want to open that can of worms, but then I think this is a case of managing expectations and setting realistic targets. And if you are working towards a certain target, then how do you prepare for that? I don't think beating Pakistan 4-1 at home is the right preparation for what was about to come in January.
Yeah. I feel like, just to add to that, if you're talking about where it all went wrong, I think, and we were talking about this off camera as well. Yeah, it starts off with the management. You know, like the way I see it, हमारी जो squad है अभी, वो बहुत exciting squad है. There's a bunch of really exciting young players in that squad जो अपने अपने ISL clubs के लिए बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं. There is genuinely a lot of excitement about these players across the ISL. And it's fair to say कि जो fans ISL देखते हैं और जो fans ISL teams को support करते हैं, अपने अपने city के state के teams को support करते हैं, they are very excited about these players, and rightly so, as they should be. That is what being a football fan is about, and that is what brings them to the India games as well. पर you can't put the blame solely on them, क्योंकि at the end of the day ये बहुत ही young team है in a very young and nascent football federation. So you cannot expect the world from them. After, like Anuj said, after we won the SAF Cup and after we beat Pakistan and all, I was just looking at the माहौल online of Indian football fans जो बोल रहे हैं यार अभी World Cup इतना दूर नहीं. Like, keep it in your pants, bros. Like, काफी दूर है. If you look at the reality of things, काफी दूर है. हाँ, we don't want it to be that far, Of course, we all want to see India play the World Cup in our lifetimes, and maybe that will happen. But it doesn't mean that 2026 World Cup में हम जा सकते हैं. Of course, now that FIFA has increased the number of teams in the World Cup from 2026 onwards, of course, बहुत सारा better opportunity है. Asia और Asian teams के spots double हो चुके हैं, तो yes, there is logically speaking a better opportunity for a nation like India to actually qualify for the World Cup. But it is still an outside chance. Anuj very rightly said कि हमारे आजू बाजू जो देश है वो हमसे ज़्यादा fast grow कर रहे हैं. We need to figure out why that is. What is it that they are doing that we are not able to do? And if we actually introspect and look at that question and think about that question, I think हम सबके दिमाग में एक ही आंसर होगा कि जो हमारा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, जो हमारा मैनेजमेंट है, जो हमारी ग्रासरूट्स फैसिलिटीज है, they're just not at the level that they need to be, and they're not heading also in that level that they need to be.
I think a lot
Interesting.
comes down
हाँ.
to intention here, and I think
Yeah.
given I think the last video also I mentioned gave the example of somebody like a Jordan who went so deep into the Asian Cup this time, and it was not expected of Jordan to do that. And then you do a deep dive on what they've done right. और एक बहुत अच्छा example would have been Morocco at the World Cup. I mean, they made it all the way to the semi-final, and they had a very clear 10 to 12-year plan of developing talent. Again, there are plans बनते हैं अभी. AIFF have their vision 2047, honestly, whatever that is. But plans need to be realistic. And I think what like Amog you rightly said, एक मैच जीतने के बाद वर्ल्ड कप अभी दूर नहीं है. I think people need to understand where we are, and it's okay to be disappointed. It's good that people are getting disappointed, which means that people are expecting more. But
right.
it is also important that we are realistic about where we are. And I think social media, especially post COVID, has given a voice to a lot of fans and a lot of pundits who want to wait and diss Indian football wherever at the first chance possible. But I think we need to keep ourselves in check, keep like get a grip on our reality and see where we are.
अनुज, पर वो तो होते रहता है, राइट गाइस? बिकॉज देखो, यू नो, वो लैक ऑफ अ बेटर टर्म हियर कि हम हमारा ओपिनियन कि कैसे फैन बनना है, कैसे टीम को सपोर्ट करना है, वो तो हम गार्ड करके रख नहीं सकते कि यही तरीका है. सोशल मीडिया तो अभी रहने वाला है. लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर कैजुअल फैंस, ठीक है, मैं अभी आई प्रॉपर्ली स्टार्टेड वाचिंग इंडियन फुटबॉल ये सीजन के स्टार्ट में, 2023 स्टार्ट में, राइट? ऑन एंड ऑफ बिन वाचिंग. एक्चुअली मैंने 10 से ज़्यादा 10, 12, 15 गेम देखे मुंबई सिटी के, लेकिन आफ्टर दैट आई नॉट वॉच टू मच ISL, ठीक है. मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन था कि मुझे लगता था कि इंडियन फुटबॉल थोड़ा बेटर होगा देखने के लिए, मुझे ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट आएगा. एंड आई नो लॉट ऑफ पीपल लाइक मी आर देयर, ठीक है. लेकिन एट सर्टेन पॉइंट मुझे लगा कि नहीं, जो भी है देखते हैं, देख के ही मालूम पड़ेगा कि क्या चालू है, राइट? यू कांट बी टू डिस्कनेक्टेड. ऐसे बहुत सारे ओपिनियंस है, बहुत सारे अपने स्टाइल है फॉलो करने के. बहुत लॉयल फुटबॉल फैंस है इंडिया में, राइट? स्पेशली फ्रॉम बंगाल, केरला, गोवा, नॉर्थ ईस्ट, राइट?
मुंबई भी बोल देना.
अभी बोल देता था, लेकिन मुंबई तो अभी IPL का हालत देख के लगता है क्रिकेट भी नहीं रहेगा साथ में.
But right time to jump over, guys.
Exactly.
छोड़ दो IPL, छोड़ दो. बट पॉइंट वही था, राइट, कि एक्साइटमेंट तो रहने वाला है यार. लाइक सी, वही होता है ना. आई थिंक बैंटर इज वेयर द प्रॉब्लम कम्स इनटू, एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट इंडियन फुटबॉल या नेशनल फुटबॉल, इंटरनेशनल फुटबॉल, राइट? इट जस्ट कम्स डाउन टू बस बैंटर करना है, मीडिया पे फॉलो करना है, इंडिया जीतेगा, इंडिया जीतेगा. प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है ना, जो लोग ये बोलते हैं एक्चुअली उनको मालूम है कि इंडिया जीतने वाला नहीं है. लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग जो ऐसे यंग फैंस आते हैं कि इंडिया कैसे नहीं जीता, खून खोलता है उनका ना, 16, 17, 18. वो कैसे कंट्रोल करेंगे? अभी यू एंड आई कांट कंट्रोल दैट. इट्स समथिंग ना हम लोग को लगता है कि एज प्रीमियर लीग फैंस, एज बीइंग सपोर्टर ऑफ मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड, वी नो सोशल मीडिया नॉइज 65% जितना बुलशिट है. बट at the end of the day, public outcry tha, right? Chhetri had come and said, please come follow us in the stadiums, fill up the stadiums. He was bang on. Should have filled the stadiums up. fans are filling up the stadiums. कल midweek था, right? It was midweek match, Guwahati, 9,500 fans. I know number में बहुत नहीं है, but हो रहा है. But to the point again, कि wrapping it up, हम लोग का फुटबॉल इतना इम्प्रूव नहीं हुआ कि you can tell our fans, I can tell my younger cousin brothers, जाके next game जो भी है, जाके देखो, right? They're not giving us any reason to follow it. The coach is not giving us any reason to follow it. Now you can't pin it down to Sunil Chhetri as a captain should go and tell the team at least play for them in the audience, right? It's not up to him only. Yes, उसका 150th appearance था, 94th goal, but एक को बंदा कितना करेगा, right? To my next point, is Sunil Chhetri being scapegoated a little bit in the last 24 hours? कि अभी should step down, उसका हो गया है, younger players are not developing because of him. I don't think so. Who is he stopping? Who is he stopping?
I completely agree with you. I don't think so either. But just to go back to what you started this question with, about social media and the backlash or the expectations जो fans के होते हैं on social media, यार ये तो life in 2024 है bro. It's not just about football. ये तो हर sector में social media पे यही बकवास चलते रहता है यार. Whether it is politics, whether it is football, cricket, जो भी है. No matter what you do in your life, in your sport, in your profession, there are going to be at least 40% of people on social media जिनके profiles तो कल बने थे और display picture तो कोई AI generated model है जो तुम्हें गालियां देगा. तो ये तो social media को ना हम as football fans or as people, humans, or football players who are professional players for the national team, for the clubs, or anyone in whatever profession, social media को seriously लेना is a stupid thing to begin with. It is noise. You block it off, and I'm sure like there are lots of professional football players all over the world who have said that out loud in front of camera, saying we don't listen to the noise because it is just that. तो वो एक चीज है. दूसरी चीज है यार, in terms of fans, again, what is the administration doing to make the match day experience better for fans? क्योंकि यार सिर्फ फैन स्टेडियम भरने से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. हाँ, प्लेयर्स को सपोर्ट मिलेगा, प्लेयर्स को थोड़ा मोटिवेशन मिलेगा, एंड दैट इज ग्रेट, श्योर. तो जब भी छेत्री सर बोलते हैं कैमरा पे कि यार प्लीज कम टू द स्टेडियम टू सपोर्ट अस, दैट्स ग्रेट. इट्स शेमफुल दैट ही एज द कैप्टन एंड द लॉन्गेस्ट सर्विंग प्लेयर ऑफ द इंडियन नेशनल टीम हैज टू डू दैट, बट इट स्टिल is fine. It worked. Once he put out that video, people started filling in the stands, and it had some sort of a positive impact. But that's not going to change things in a massive way. It is a very small ripple in the ocean. Once the fans are in, as an administration, आप क्या कर रहे हो उनके लिए? Forget the players. And that is a long thing, a long conversation which we'll eventually get to in this life. But फ्रॉम द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आप क्या कर रहे हो उन फैंस को एक एंजॉयबल मैच डे एक्सपीरियंस देने के लिए? क्या तुम्हारे स्टेडियम्स, आई एम नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग देम टू बी टॉटनहम हॉटस्पर स्टेडियम लेवल और व्हाटएवर, कि स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट होना चाहिए, VAR टेक्नोलॉजी होनी चाहिए, LED साइन बोर्ड नहीं, बट आर दे इन अ कंडीशन that still makes it comfortable for a fan to enjoy a night out? Firstly, that is that. Secondly, what is your marketing spend as a football federation? What is your marketing spend? Simple example है, simple comparison है, and I know, I'm well aware कि cricket is a much bigger sport, it is a more profitable sport or whatever. पर यार look at जब ये Adidas ने इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम का जर्सी स्पॉन्सरशिप ले लिया, look at the marketing campaign that they've done, right? हमारी इंडियन टीम कौन सी जर्सीज पहन रही है? ये मैं पुरानी वाली पहन रहा हूँ 6 की, विच इज स्टिल अ वेरी गुड जर्सी. अभी क्या कोई तो परफॉर्मैक्स ब्रांड है, क्या है ये ब्रांड? कहाँ पे मिलेगा ये जर्सी? कौन लेने वाला है?
6x6 आर स्पॉन्सरिंग,
थोड़ा डीप जाएंगे.
6x6 आर स्पॉन्सरिंग अफगानिस्तान. बट आई एम सेइंग इवन बिफोर दिस परफॉर्मैक्स 6x6 था, उसके पहले नाइकी का था हमारा किट डील. How much did Nike even put into the marketing spend? What was that deal like with the AIFF? Why are we only seeing photos of Rohit Sharma with a cricket bat with the Indian jersey on billboards all across the city, but we are not seeing Chhetri or Gurpreet in the football jerseys out on the billboards? why is that jersey so hard for people to go out and buy? अगर तुम marketing spends ही नहीं करोगे कि इस sport को थोड़ा बढ़ावा दे दो, as a national team, as a sport that is representing our country in various tournaments on the world scale, अगर तुम वो marketing spend ही नहीं करोगे, अगर तुम वो बढ़ावा ही नहीं दोगे, तो क्यों why would anyone care, right? So that is a
हम लोग को तो बोल रहे हैं ना कि through ISL, through AIFF new elections जो हुआ था, we have earmarked lot of money, बहुत पैसा डालेंगे स्पोर्ट्स में, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे,
किधर है?
कुछ नहीं. So I'm saying it is shocking कि बोलते हैं, और हमारे साथ यहाँ पे जो हुआ है in all our sports federations, हॉकी का देखा है, रेसलिंग का देखा है, वहाँ पे कुछ तो देखा है, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं देखा. मतलब ऐसा भी नहीं दिखा है कि ये देखो ये स्टेडियम के बाहर जो ये वॉल है ना उसको पेंट किया है, वो भी नहीं है. So to the point being, so where has the money gone?
Correct. And the answer to that question is very clear. AIFF का management क्या है? Which type of people? Poly. I can't say the word on this live. Poly ऐसे कुछ तो हाँ. So that should answer your question, right? Now that might be a bit of a controversial topic. So let's move to the next part of your question, which is Chhetri. अगर आप पूछ रहे हो कि छेत्री को scapegoat किया जा रहा है क्या? What is it that he can do? I feel कि हाँ यार उसको scapegoat किया जा रहा है. It is very easy for a fan to sit at home and watch a game that your national team loses or plays badly in, which again, newsflash, होता है. It is sport. All right, you are allowed to have bad days at the office. होता है. But it is very easy to say यार ये तो बहुत खेल चुका है, इसका रिटायरमेंट का टाइम होना चाहिए, he is blocking players, and like you said is correct. किसको ब्लॉक कर रहा है वो? Who is there at that level, at the level of Sunil Chhetri in that squad right now, who you can be like, हाँ अगर छेत्री को हम बेंच करवाएंगे ना, तो यार ये प्लेयर will deliver. It is a guaranteed one goal at least player that we have waiting in the wings, because Chhetri has been that. You know, he's what, 41, Anuj, right now? 40, 41?
30, 38, 39?
38, late 30s, chalo, which is ridiculous. You know, that it is a testament to the man's fitness and his dedication to the sport, that he's playing at the highest level in his country at that age. But even at that age, वो score तो कर रहा है. You know, he also forget his goal scoring, but as a legendary player, as one of the longest serving captains of the Indian national football team, he also brings a certain presence in the dressing room, which is very important for these younger players. And Anuj will know this. How many young Indian players have we been in touch with who always only have the best things to say about Chhetri sir? Ki yaar, when you go into that Indian dressing room and you meet Chhetri sir, you feel like you're in the presence of greatness. You know, you want to impress the man. You want to show him that you have what it takes to play for this badge. Yaar, you need somebody like that. No, at the end of the day, in every dressing room, you need that. United में भी वही सोचते थे ना, Roy Keane क्या था, Paul Scholes क्या था. These were players that other players, foreign players, used to come into the room and want to try and impress because they set the standards. So Chhetri is that for us. And it's not like there's anybody waiting in the wings who's at that level yet. So I don't think he's blocking anybody's progress.
जो सुनील बोल रहे हैं right now, right? Summing up all your points, so Sunil just said that right now.
Correct. Absolutely correct. It's not the players, it's not the man. I mean, maybe a little bit the manager, but more than anything else, more than anything else, I feel like it is the structure around which is failing, not just the players and the manager, but the fans as well.
See, I think that's where the federation also failed, right? I mean, everyone asks who is the next Sunil Chhetri? Where is the next? Yeah. It's a valid question to ask. He's been around for so long. 150 games is not a joke. I mean, going on at the age of 38, 39. See, I would honestly, you're right. To be that fit and to be that relevant in the sport in this country till that age is a commendable thing. I think 2 साल पहले तक I would have even said he is still the best footballer in the country. 1.5-2 साल पहले तक.
Yeah.
He's obviously declining, and it is. I mean, there's no. उसमें क्या है? He's 38, 39. He should. I think that's. अब नहीं decline होगा तो मतलब कब होगा? I
Exactly.
think.
बट अनुज
I
पॉइंट
think.
वही है कि उसके डिक्लाइन के बाद भी सॉरी द नेक्स्ट बेस्ट पर्सन is only getting to a higher level because he's declining.
No, so I'll tell you.
Someone
No,
should
so see this. No, see this is where I mean people ask questions to the clubs. People ask questions to the AIFF on who next, who what after this. This is where succession planning has to come into picture, right? And it is just again management. There's technical management, there is off the pitch, on the pitch. अगर आपको पता है कि आपके कंट्री का कैप्टन, बेस्ट प्लेयर, मोस्ट प्रोलिफिक गोल स्कोरर अगले 2 साल में रिटायर होने वाला है, अगले 3-4 साल में रिटायर होने वाला है, फ्रैंकली इट शुडंट इवन गो दैट बी दैट लेट. Look at for example the German national team, or what the England national team has done. They put St George's Park in place in 2013 to give that next golden generation. जो
Yeah.
उनके पास एक बार एक टाइम था, कुछ हुआ नहीं उनसे, so they wanted
Yeah.
to do it. Now, and these honestly the best players sometimes don't even come through the club's academy structure. They usually come through the national team structure. They are first scouted by national teams, under 13s, under 15s, even younger, I would say, in European countries. India mein to see most clubs now have a youth structure, a very, very
Hmm.
streamlined youth structure. AIFF has always had a youth structure in place. But there was no effort there to find the next Sunil Chhetri or the next big thing of Indian football. And frankly, it doesn't even need to be the next big thing. You just develop good, talented players, give them the right chances at the right time, and they will shine. When
Yeah.
Sunil came by, I think all the way back in 2004-5, Baichung was towards, I think, slowly getting out of the picture. And I think there was a lot of questions being asked back then as well. Ki, हाँ, Baichung ke baad kaun? Now, Sunil got his chances. He started playing at a younger age. He got his chances, and he came through that system. But then who else? That is just one example. Who else has come to that level who you can say ki he's also the face now of the national team. I think what the AFF should have realized maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe when they hired Igor Stimac around the same time, that this is going to be a problem we need to solve in the next 3 to 4 years. So let's
Yeah.
start planning for it right now. Jo I don't think hua. And obviously amidst those 4 or 5 years, there was a re-election, there was a FIFA ban to the federation. There's a lot of cases. COVID, let's not discount that because that also is a real problem when it comes to grassroots football and just on ground uh, operations, right? I don't see any effort that was taken in the last few years, concerted effort to finding the next Sunil Chhetri, because that's the question everybody seems to be asking. And coming to yesterday, yeah, नहीं उसको can't blame him. You can't blame Sunil ki he's still holding his place. Like
Yeah.
Amok said, there are younger players who are talented, who have the promise, but none of them have really have given that assurance ki ha Sunil, if Sunil doesn't play then ye hai ऐसे.
Yeah.
So I think it's one for the next sort of, I'm saying next because I'm a hopeful, next Indian coach to look at, but or the next AIFF management board whatever structure to look at. But no, yeah, you can't blame Sunil alone. There's a lot of people that are to be blamed for where we are at this
पर
point.
वही ना अनुज कांट वही हम लोग ने बोला था कि एएफसी जो एशिया कप भी था कि प्लेयर्स को थोड़ा ब्लेम कर सकते हैं कि पैशन दिखाओ ज़्यादा. जो हम लोग ने कल के गेम में देखा था ना, थोड़ा डर गए थे एंड वो डर गए थे. वो थोड़ा मैनेजर पे नहीं होता है ना. कभी कभार जो प्लेयर्स पिच पे होते हैं और चल चेत्री वाज ऑफ द पिच, उसको निकाला, उसके बाद गोल गया. एक तो कोई रह सकता था ना कि चलो मैं लेता हूँ लीडरशिप, आई विल मार्शल द ट्रूप्स. दैट वाज द चांस. इनफैक्ट तुम लोग बोलते हो ना चेत्री को बोला स्टेप डाउन करे.
See that.
Anyone on the pitch could have just been like, boys, very simple ना. वो तो you don't need tactics for that. You don't need, वो कॉमन होता है, ठीक है, वो नहीं हुआ. बट मेरा पॉइंट वही है कि प्लेयर्स को नहीं ब्लेम करना ज्यादा. You touched upon this already about the coach, so let's just go there now. एक comment आया, I can't unfortunately put it up on this thing because we'll get banned because of the abuse. But to the larger point, टू द लार्जर पॉइंट कि ज्यादा गलत तो कुछ बोला नहीं है, हम लोग को सब कुछ चाहिए कि स्टीमैच गया, क्योंकि पॉइंट है कि हमने ये चालू किया था बोल के कि 5 साल हो गया है, उसने प्रोमिस किए थे, उसने उसके एक्सक्यूजेस दिए एंड सम वैलिड पॉइंट्स आर देयर। उसको कैंप चाहिए कि देखो एक चीज है, पब्लिक उसको बहुत बोल रहा है कि अरे लुक एट अदर इंटरनेशनल साइड्स इन द वर्ल्ड, उन लोग को किधर मिलता है, उन लोग को यही 5 इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक मिलता है, इंग्लैंड ये वो, पर तो किसको किससे कंपेयर कर रहा है? उन लोग का पूरा 100 साल से उन लोग का ये सिस्टम चल रहा है बॉस यूरोप में। अभी 20 साल से MLS ने जो उनका पूरा सिस्टम चेंज किया है इन दी अमेरिकाज, वहां पे उनका भी सिस्टम फाइनली इट्स गॉन इनटू गियर, राइट? तो उसे जब वो बोलता है उसको मॉक नहीं कर सकते। हम लोग को एज इंडिया ज्यादा खेलना चाहिए, बट जो अभी हम लोग ने खेला भी है वो अच्छा इतना नहीं खेला है जो उसने बोला था कि हम कर पाएंगे, मैं करूंगा। क्या प्लेयर्स पावर कुछ अभी ऐसा है हम बोलेंगे कि अंदर प्लेयर पावर है जो हम लोग को मालूम नहीं है, क्योंकि हम लोग को मीडिया जैसे इंग्लैंड में वैसे बता रहा नहीं है कि उन लोग को नहीं खेलना है इसके नीचे कुछ ऐसा? क्या ऐसा कुछ है कि एक्चुअली वो है ही बकवास मैनेजर और अभी हमको दिखने को आ रहा है? वो भी वाइब्स पे चल रहा था, प्लेयर्स यंग थे, थोड़े एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर थे, चेत्री वाज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हिज लाइफ, वी गॉट समवेयर, अभी वो सब एवरीथिंग इज कम क्रैशिंग डाउन टुगेदर। बट
I'll tell you something, okay? And Anuj, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to ask कि अभी ये जो live देख रहे हैं, and I know the answer from the two of you because this is the Football Bloody Hell channel, but I'll ask this question to everybody who's watching this also. How many of you are Man United fans? And how many ever of you are Man United fans, you will resonate with what I'm about to say. United, since Ferguson retired, has had David Moyes, जो हम write off कर देंगे because David Moyes, but has had Van Gaal with a lot of credibility from his CV, Mourinho, Ralph Rangnick, Solskjaer, vibes, but still he performed decently, but eventually ended in gross failure. And now Eric Ten Hag, again a very widely regarded, tactically astute manager. तो हमने सब type of managers try किए हैं. ऐसे Alex Ferguson's choice as the chosen one, to tactically brilliant Dutch manager with a lot of experience, now to tactically brilliant Dutch manager with not as much experience, to serial winner Jose Mourinho, to vibes merchant Solskjaer, or whatever you might call it. Every pie in the pie chart has been tried out by United.
Right, yeah.
क्या हमने 10 साल में सक्सेस देखा है? नहीं. And I don't count the FA Cup victory or the Carabao Cup victory or the Europa League victory as a success, because yes, they are trophies, but consistently winning the Premier League or consistently being within the reach of winning the Premier League would still be success. वो हमने नहीं देखा है. और as United fans हम क्या बोलते हैं, ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है? क्योंकि ग्लेजर्स, क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रक्चर ही इतनी गलत है, क्योंकि जो फुटबॉल ऑपरेशंस है दोज आर ओनली हेडेड बाय पीपल हु डोंट नो द एफ इन फुटबॉल. तो कोई भी मैनेजर को लाओ, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू सक्सीड. अभी फिलहाल व्हेन टेन हाग्स रिजल्ट्स आर नॉट गोइंग वेल, हमने इसी चैनल पे कितने बार बोला है कि यार टेन हाग इन और टेन हाग आउट, शुड वी सैक टेन हाग और नॉट? एंड देयर आर सो मेनी यूनाइटेड फैंस हु आर सेइंग कि यार नहीं, टेन हाग को निकालना चाहिए, उसको कुछ पता नहीं है ये वो. भाई पर किसी और को भी लाओगे तो वो फेलियर ही होने वाला है, क्योंकि जब तक तुम ओनरशिप नहीं चेंज करते हो, जब तक तुम फुटबॉलिंग स्ट्रक्चर फ्रॉम अ मैनेजमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू नहीं चेंज करते हो, तुम्हें ऑन द पिच रिजल्ट्स नहीं दिखने वाले इन अ लॉन्ग टर्म सस्टेनेबल फॉर्मेट. Why are City so successful? Because from the top down they have a very robust management structure. Before they even got Guardiola, they got two of his most trusted and most confident and most closely knit people to sit in the boardroom. They sat there for 1 year, 2 years, and made the entire club perfect for him to come. Then they went and got him. So can you think about the level of planning that they put in? So
भाई अभी
again, it comes to that.
इतना डिप्रेस कर दिया ये सुन के, क्योंकि अभी तूने जो इतना टेक्निकली ब्रेक डाउन किया है, अभी तू पिक्चर करे वो रिमूव मैन सिटी, रिमूव यूनाइटेड पिक्चर IFF, ये कहां से आने वाला है हम लोग को मालूम नहीं है.
अभी ये जो इलिटरेट्स का एक कमेंट मुझे दिख रहा है, भैया चौबे को भी निकालो और बाइचुंग भुटिया को ले आओ और लोबेरा को लाओ. That's the start. I'm not sure how much Bhaichung Bhutia himself will be able to change the fortunes of the AIFF. It is a very
Correct,
romantic
because
thing
we
to
know
say.
this. Players
It's
that don't make good managers and presidents.
exactly,
ठीक है?
exactly. We know this, and it's very romantic to say, "Yaar, Bhaichung Bhutia should be heading the AIFF for us because he has been a player, he has been a legend for the Indian football team, and he knows
So
what
has
it's all about."
Kalyan Chaube, by the way. So has Kalyan Chaube,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
But see, now the thing is, I feel कि to put those people in those positions, हमारे पास वो स्ट्रक्चर ही नहीं है यार. कितने कॉलेजेस है इंडिया में जो स्पोर्ट्स बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के डिग्रीज दे रहे हैं, who are actually properly and formally teaching you about the business and the management of sports? नहीं है कोई. So it's a long road ahead, guys. ये ऐसे immediately in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year नहीं change होने वाला है. It's a long thing, and we as fans, I think, have a responsibility to understand that and back the players. Call out the issues with the administration for sure, but back the players. If at this point हम लोग बोलेंगे यार छेत्री तो हग रहा है, उसको निकालना चाहिए, यार गुरप्रीत क्या करता है, ऐसे इजी गोल्स दे जाता है, यार ये कौन है, थापा कौन है बीच में, उसको खेलना नहीं आता है, हम लोग ऐसे बोलेंगे हमारे प्लेयर्स के बारे में, तो यार इट्स ऑल गोइंग टू फॉल डाउन बिफोर इट्स इवन बिल्ट.
बट वही पॉइंट है अनुज का, मैं पहले ही बोल रहा था कि कैजुअल फैंस लाइक मी जो अभी फाइनली देख रहे हैं, राइट, हमारा हुक क्या है कि वो गुस्सा ही निकलेगा ना. हमारा हुक क्या है कि मैं सब गेम देखूं टीवी पे, स्टेडियम तो छोड़, पहले टीवी पे सब गेम देखूं, मेरे लीग फुटबॉल देखूं. ठीक है, जो अमोक ने बोला वो बहुत सही बोला कि बहुत मतलब आगे का सफर. पब्लिक क्या बोल रहा था, 2034 तो पक्का है वर्ल्ड कप. बोला एट दिस रेट 2050. एंड ये मैं जोक नहीं कर रहा था. एक मन होता था मॉडल यूनाइटेड, तो हम लोग का एक फीफा मन कमेटी था कॉलेज में 2010 में. तभी मुझे किसी ने पूछा था वो कि टॉक अबाउट कि तेरे को लगता है इंडिया कभी आएगा वर्ल्ड कप में. तभी मैंने 2050 बोला था. तो मेरे को सबने नेगेटिव बोला था, पीपल लाइक यू आर द रीजन इंडिया विल नेवर सक्सीड. ये सच्ची, आई एम टेलिंग यू, दिस हैज हैपेंड. मन बिकेम अ पर्सनल अटैक. एंड तभी आई एम नॉट किडिंग, पीछे दो लोग थे कतार 2022, दे लाइक इंडिया यू विल बी विद अस. मैं बोला भाई ये नहीं होने वाला है. क्योंकि देख तभी क्या था, तभी बिग प्लान्स आर बीइंग बिल्ड. ठीक है, आईएसएल का इंट्रोडक्शन होने वाला था, लीग का पूरा टॉक चालू था. हो गया 10 साल, 14 साल हो गया, आईएसएल को टाइम हो गया. आई एम सेइंग फॉरगेट कि द लॉन्ग रोड अहेड. 10 साल आईएसएल ने, आई कांट से इट्स बीन अ फेलियर, क्योंकि आईएसएल हैज हुक्ड अ डिसेंट नंबर ऑफ फैंस टू हैव पैशनेट फॉलोइंग अबाउट इंडियन फुटबॉल अपने लोकल सिटीज. ठीक है, दैट आईएसएल हैज डन. अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई लीग बहुत पहले से कर रहा है, उनके पास ना पैसा था, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली उनको पैसा आना चाहिए था ये करने के लिए, उनको नहीं आया. नया लीग आया एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी आर वेयर वी आर, राइट.
या
बट एट अ पॉइंट नाउ आईएसएल स्टैग्नेट हो गया पूरा, इन माय ओपिनियन, एज अ पर्सन हु हैज बीन वाचिंग दिस वेरी कैजुअली. इट इज फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग. ठीक है, इज इट क्वालिटी ऑफ फुटबॉल इज वेरी बैड, पीपल आर लाइक इट्स अनवॉचेबल? नहीं, क्वालिटी ऑफ फुटबॉल थोड़ा अच्छा हुआ है इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स को ले आके, स्लाइटली बेटर इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स ईयर ऑन ईयर. ठीक है, तो टू सम अप सिस्टमैटिक चैलेंज और सिस्टमैटिक चेंज, रेफरी एसोसिएशन बॉस, वेयर इज व्हाट इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ इंडियन रेफरिंग? आईएसएल ने पैसा डाल दिया ना, कितना उसका परसेंटेज का 0.5% भी डाल दो रेफरी फेडरेशन में, वहां पे तेरा गेम इंप्रूव होता है ना. वो नहीं किया इतने सालों से. व्हाट आर वी वेटिंग फॉर? फॉरगेट अबाउट मेकिंग अ न्यू एआईएफएफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, लीडरशिप, ग्रासरूट्स तो टच भी नहीं किया हम लोग ने. मैनेजर भी छोड़ो, रेफरी का स्टैंडर्ड, अभी तुम लोग बोलोगे सब रेफरी स्क्रू, नया रेफरी को लेके आओ. अरे लेकिन उनका एसोसिएशन वही है, रूल्स वही है, ट्रेनिंग वही है ना, क्या चेंज होगा? आई डोंट वांट टू येल कि ये सब रेफरीज आर पक्कौल चूते हैं, ये वो है. स्ट्रक्चर देखो ना, उनका टूल्स क्या है? उनका टूल्स चेंज हुआ है कुछ? उनका कुछ टूल मिला है? व्हाट आर देयर टूल्स? आई डोंट नो.
I think AIFF. See, I think obviously there are fuck ups that have happened at every possible stage. I would say. I think coming back to where we were at with Igor's team match, and I'm sure most of you will have seen the videos that were making the round yesterday, AIFF chor hai, Igor,
Hmm.
get out Igor, go home Igor.
Yeah.
I think AIFF के issues जो है वो पहले से चलते हैं, because see, as like you said, it is very romantic, very easy to say Bhaichung Bhutia, AIFF president. It's not that. Like, and he also said that good players very rarely make good administrators or good coaches,
Yeah.
or any like they're not always the best fit in the boardroom, so to say.
because they're very idealistic, Anuj.
Yeah.
And वो
So
idealism, unfortunately, you need someone who's idealistic but
you-
pragmatic, ambitious, और वो
see,
कम लोग
that's what
आते
we
हैं.
thought. Honestly, that's what we thought we were getting when the fresh elections happened in 22. Kalyan Chaube came in again, a former international goalkeeper and a politician. So it kind of fit the bill. Like here is a sports person who thinks sports, who knows sports, and is also a good administrator. It hasn't worked out the way it should have. Let's be honest, and we'll come to the allegations and stuff that is going on with the AFF leadership. But I think for any league or any country to succeed, the national team has to do well. I said this the last time as well. ISL, like you said, अभी थोड़ा plateau हो रहा है. I think it has also to do a lot with the national team form. National team form, unfortunately, largely falls. The finger has to point towards Igor Stimac. Whatever
Hmm.
it may be, I mean, there were Reddit threads all the way 5 years ago when he was hired by people from Croatia who were pointing out a lot of shady business that he's been done, and he's apparently not a very popular figure back home in Croatia. I mean, he's been involved in a bunch of scams. He's gotten fired from a few places. I think one of the reasons why he got the AIFF job to begin with was because the other two competitors were a little bit more expensive. Um, yeah,
Sorry, just to cut you off, but now I'm thinking of the next time I get a message, "Hi dear, you're looking for a job." I was like, Igor, too? What scams has he been involved in, bro?
no, I'll link you guys to that Reddit
Hmm.
thread. I think that this kind of self-explanatory. There's nightclubs involved. There has been
Oh wow.
instances when he was the director of football at a club, and he fired their coach after 4 games and became the coach himself. There's bunch of stories.
Yeah, yeah,
That should have been a sign, but then fair. I think we were sold the dream of a former Croatia manager,
yeah, yeah,
national team manager. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
5 years on, it was correct. I don't see what he's done significantly to improve. In compared, say Stephen Constantine's last game with the Indian national team was the last game of the 2019 Asian Cup. Let's just draw parallels between from that tournament to this tournament.
yeah,
I feel the quality of players has improved considerably. Then
yeah,
we have technically better players. The pool of players that Igor is picking from versus the pool of players that Stephen preferred is a different pool. It's
yeah,
more technically adept. It's better players, younger players, faster players. Any coach could have used these players in such a better way. Igor ने क्या किया? I honestly, only he knows, frankly. So for me, he has to be the first one through the wall for what has happened, and not to mention all the media comments. I mean, all the flashy statements
yeah,
that he's been
yeah,
making. Uh, I mean, we've qualified for the Asian Cup. If he's going to come out and say the Asian Cup is not important to me, my focus is on World Cup qualifiers, and then proceeds to fuck up both. So that is just the most recent one, right? I mean, he's done this way too often. Even last night, he was. I saw the post match interview on live on TV. He was very casually throwing the players under the bus.
yeah.
So I don't blame the players for playing the way that they've been, because it is it's very apparent in the culture in that dressing room. Again, national team ho, jo bhi ho, uh, ये आपने क्या बोला? The culture in the dressing room depends from team to team, and it largely depends on how it's being run. And I think Igor, yeah, nahin, I don't think he's the right person to be. Forget the result. I don't think players really enjoy playing under him. B, probably they don't even understand what is expected of them, and that is very evident. That is very, very evident from some of the performances. I mean, you have a front three of Manveer Singh, Liston Colasso, and Sunil Chhetri last night. Two out of those three play for the same club. They know each other. Sunil is Sunil. All three of them looked so disjointed last night. So disjointed last night. Even a midfield with somebody like an Apuya, somebody like Jigson. Again, two of the best center midfielders in the ISL who play well for their clubs. Most of these players are there because they are playing well for their club. So then what happens suddenly? So that is, I think, the question that needs to be asked, whether Igor is the right person to lead this team. I think the answer should have come by many years ago that he's not. But
Yeah.
if last night's result can be a wake up call, I hope.
लेकिन ये करंट स्ट्रक्चर में अमोघ अनुज कौन आएगा और आएगा तो क्या करेगा, क्या ही कर लेगा वो?
पर वही तो एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट है एंड आई फुल्ली अग्री विद अनुज के यार ये Igor Stimac has not been a very good coach for this team at all, and yesterday's game, like you said, Anuj, is a testament to the entire reign under him. What this team has managed to do under him, by and large, has not been great, purely because when you have a good pool of players to choose from, you're still not getting results out of them, means you as a manager are doing something terribly wrong. I feel, and just looking at the ISL, okay, I feel there are so many young managers, foreign managers only, who are doing such good jobs with their clubs, right? Who are
Yeah.
doing,
We got to live through one of them, right?
yeah,
Des.
exactly. We got to live through Des Buckingham's reign at Mumbai City FC, where he came in and just made Mumbai City FC serial winners, like just relentless as a machine. And he did that with a core of Indian players only, at the end of the day. Like Apuya, you mentioned,
But the
really,
structure, मुंबई सिटी
exactly.
एफसी का स्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड किया उसको ना. हाँ.
पर एग्जैक्टली ना, तो वही तो सीन है कि अभी आईएसएल में इतने सारे इंटरेस्टिंग मैनेजर्स है, फॉरेन मैनेजर्स है, जो इंडियन प्लेयर्स के साथ डील कर सकते हैं.
They've done wonders. They've done wonders.
So theoretically, on paper, you have a pool of managers or candidates who can work with this pool of Indian players that you have. You have managers who are willing to stay in the country and work with these players. Of course, it's not just about, oh, is this an attractive enough prospect? No, is my family going to be happier? How long am I going to stay in the country? Where am I going to stay? What is my life here going to be like? And then it's the question of, how far do I think I can take this team? What is my professional goal?
I'll just interject here. I think some time ago, Annie only mentioned that Igor has been crying about the fact that usko camps nahi mil rahe, time nahi mil raha. I think firstly, he probably doesn't realize, and what a lot of fans also need to understand, managing a club and managing a national team are two very different things.
Very different things.
Very different things. One is where you inculcate a philosophy, where you inculcate a style because you're playing every third, fourth day, and one is where you want results. You lay down like the bare bones of a philosophy, and then you play to win. Countries like Jordan, Morocco, वो बैठ के मतलब style अगर करते बैठते थे, camp करते बैठते थे, nothing would have happened. Example, Japan, I think about some 20 years ago or something, they had this 99-year long plan where the goal is to win a World Cup by the end of it. They got to the quarterfinals of the 2018 World Cup in Russia, almost made it to the semis, I think. Belgium came back and beat them 3-2. It is result-oriented football at the end of the day. And crying about not getting enough time with the players is not really an excuse. It should not be an excuse.
Yeah.
And world over, you don't want to compare it to European countries or South American countries, fair, because those players their football IQ is higher and they can sort of switch from club to country. But here you have to realize, if say for example, if there are 7 clubs in the ISL out of 12 or 8 clubs who are playing possession based football, the Indian players in those clubs are adept to playing that style of football. As the head coach of the national team, you need to work with these clubs, their coaches, understand the players, because the club coaches are spending a lot more time with these players than you are, which is what you're cribbing about. So rather talk to somebody and get the expertise of someone who's spending more time with them, and try and use those strengths to base your national team philosophy. But I mean, without going into too much detail, I know for a fact that Igor Stimac has in fact quite the opposite. He thinks it's not his job to be talking to the club coaches and so on and so forth. Without, like, I don't want to get into all of that, but that's what the coach needs to be doing, and especially in a developing country like ours, where
Yeah.
Indian footballers are still not smart enough footballing wise to switch like this between two styles or two different structures.
Yeah.
So why not play to their strengths? But
Yeah.
आई थिंक अनुज वो तो उसको आसान एक्सक्यूज मिल जाता है ना कि उसको मालूम है कि उसको प्लेयर पूरा अपना है, उसको उनके साथ काम करना है. ब्लेम द लीग, ब्लेम द स्ट्रक्चर, ब्लेम द क्लब ओनर्स कि तुम लोग रिलीज नहीं करते हो.
Yeah.
ऐसे उसको पूछा गया था कि नहीं तूने ट्राई किया है? नहीं. नहीं.
करेक्ट. एंड सी माय थिंग आल्सो इज कि यार ये उसके फॉल्ट्स है फॉर श्योर, एंड ही नीड्स टू बी गिवन द सैक फॉर श्योर. इट्स अबाउट टाइम. वी हैव स्पेंट इनफ टाइम विद हिम एंड अभी हो गया, बहुत हो गया. बट आई स्टिल वांट टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस ऑफ द AIFF के यार व्हाट आर यू डूइंग एज अ फेडरेशन टू पिच दिस प्रोजेक्ट टू द नेक्स्ट मैनेजर? कोई क्यों आएगा यार? If we are talking about Anuj, we mentioned Des Buckingham. I would love to have seen Des Buckingham take the India job, yeah. But he's a young English coach who left Mumbai City FC to go back to Oxford United, which is his hometown club. Why is he going to take over the national team? What makes it attractive to him? Somebody in the comments had mentioned Lobera. What makes this project attractive to a Sergio Lobera? He's having a great time at Odisha right now. He's challenging for the ISL title. So why would he leave that, where of course there is a lot more money also? It's not like all over the world national team federations have a lot more money than the clubs that their league has. That's obviously not the case. But still, having said that, what is it that the AIFF is doing? It doesn't have to be look at the players that we have. We have so many nice players, and we can really go far in certain tournaments. We can win the SAF Cup because we've already won it. It's not that. This is our plan for the next 20 years. This is where we want to be in the next 20 years. This is the amount of money we are investing into grassroots football in this country. And by that I mean, इतने सारे हम लोग youth leagues sponsor करने वाले, organize करने वाले, under 13 camps organize करने वाले, to create a pool of talent that can eventually make their way up to the Indian national team, senior team. This is the amount of money we are investing in training facilities, not just for the clubs but for the national team. If you look at every national team in Europe, let's say England, let's say France, उनके set national team training camps होते हैं. St. George's Park for England, Clairefontaine for France. Those are institutions with their own proper training grounds, with their rooms, with their gyms, with everything. It is next level infrastructure. Of course, we are not going to get from 0 to 100 immediately, but 0 to 5 to karo.
See, I think that's the debate that we need to have. Like, do we make long-term plans, or do we work in the short term? Because honestly, there's no right approach. Either one could be right, either one could be
mixture of both. No, I feel at this stage.
But then see, like we were saying, Indian team जब तक कुछ जीतता नहीं. अभी somebody I think put in the comments also 83 में cricket World Cup जीता था, तो cricket blew up in India.
Yeah.
That is, yes, it's a good yardstick to have, but that is not always going to be the case. That being said, India.
Sorry. One thing for that comment. Sorry to cut you off. One thing for that comment is, यार, how many nations in the world play cricket versus how many nations in the world play football? इसके बारे में थोड़ा सोचो. That is just a.
वो अभी हाँ, but sorry Anuj, sorry हाँ, but to that point वही है कि it's a very interesting conversation. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि compare मत करो, but if you actually very simply think about it, it answers so many questions.
Yeah. See, until your national team wins, until the national team wins. See, once your national team wins, your league will do well. Your players will become better superstars, marketable athletes, however you want to call it. The commercial value of the game will increase in India. Because more people will start watching. Now, how do you win? You can win. You can maybe sack Igor Stimac today. Maybe you get in for the sake of an argument, get in Ashley West, who was the coach of Afghanistan yesterday.
Afghanistan, yeah.
That is a guy who's managed in India for several years. He knows the Indian players, he knows the ecosystem, and he's a shrewd person generally. I wouldn't even put it past him that he'll be able to tackle the Indian bureaucracy and the whole issues that are happening. You set a target that his job right now is only to win the next two games, get India to the third round of the World Cup qualifiers, and we take it from there. If you set short term targets, and I'm not saying this has to be the target or Ashley Westwood is the right man to go ahead with. If you set short term targets, I think is that is good enough because see players come and go, cycles change, long term federations change. Some the AIFF 10 years from now may not even be in existence. Just saying. Before the AIFF became the sort of apex body of football, there was something else called the IFA, Indian Football Association, which is now basically the state association of West Bengal, because that was the only federation in the country at that. 10 years from now, there might not even be an AIFF. So, abhi, like for example, how they made Vision 2047. Who knows that the right people are going to come in to carry forward? So you are. That's what I mean when I say कि national team is a result business पूरा. तुम ये मैच जीतो, ranking बढ़ा, which I think Stephen Constantine did quite well to an extent. We saw a lot of boring football under him. People criticize him for being a lamba maro, that kind of a manager. We came up from 173 to 96 under him.
Yeah.
In very questionable ways by beating Guam 5 times a year, but that is the way to go. I think if you can set short term targets, get that success, get the ladder, keep climbing up the ladder. Let there be very visible, थोड़ा लोगों को दिखे वैसा प्रोग्रेस. 20 साल का तुम प्लान बना के बैठ जाओगे, ठीक है. There should be smart people, able people to execute that plan also beyond you, after your time. वो यहाँ पे करंट टाइम में ही मतलब अब हमारा कुछ जैसे मतलब अच्छा सिचुएशन है नहीं, तो फ्यूचर का तो मतलब यू कैन नेवर टेल, बट व्हाट यू कैन कंट्रोल इज द नेक्स्ट 6 months or the next 12 months. So why not go with that approach?
Spot on.
I think fair. I think उसमें तो ज़्यादा ऐड नहीं करना है वहाँ पे, because logically that's the way you go, right? क्योंकि मैंने स्टार्ट किया था ये क्वेश्चन कि start off with making an attractive league. ISL where it is right now, all of that is collapsed. The manager's words have collapsed. लेकिन on paper chance तो है. अगर जो वहाँ तक पहुँचता है तो देखो, रहता है तो, या और किसी को लेके आओ जो हमको नेक्स्ट स्टेप तक लेके जा सके. बट करेक्टली योर पॉइंट बीइंग कि वो let's leave that aside. I want to talk about this क्योंकि ठीक है, let's leave yesterday's game aside now for a second. पब्लिक यही बोल रहा है कि लाइक यू सेड अनुज कि वंस नेशनल टीम डज वेल तो आईएसएल वापस पॉपुलर बनेगा. अभी वाइस वर्सा यही था कि पब्लिक को लगा था कि नहीं आईएसएल नहीं चल रहा है, अभी आई लीग को फेमस कर दो. देखो आईपीएल को, आईपीएल कभी कंपेयर लाओ ही मत इक्वेशन में, क्योंकि आईपीएल केम अबाउट बिकॉज़ क्रिकेट वाज फेमस. यस, क्रिकेट बिकेम फेमस लाइक समवन सेड इन द कमेंट्स क्योंकि 83 वर्ल्ड कप जीते, उसके पहले वो भी नहीं था. बट इन 2024 वो होने वाला नहीं है कि इंडिया जाके वर्ल्ड कप जीतने वाला है, राइट? तो हम लोग को ही जुगाड़ करना पड़ेगा ये कंट्री में. मार्केटिंग जो नहीं चला है कुछ अलग करना पड़ेगा. फैंस आएंगे, हम लोग जीतेंगे, तो वो ऑप्शन नहीं है. एआईएफएफ को रिस्ट्रक्चर करके ऐसा मार्केटिंग करना पड़ेगा कि फैंस को भर भरा के लेके आओ एंड होप.
Ani, fans will only come when the teams win. I'm telling you, being a part of.
नहीं होने वाला है ना. अभी तू मुझे बोल कि हम यूनाइटेड फैंस, हम लोग ने बोला, हम लोग ने एक्चुअल साइकिल देखा है इन एन एस्टैब्लिश्ड लीग, इन अ क्लब व्हिच हैज सीन एवरीथिंग.
But that is a commercial entity.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So why not make Indian football, just don't go half in ना. ये जो लीग का कैप है, ये है, वो है, change the whole cycle, shake it up and commercialize Indian football to a point where you're borrowing more interest into the league to develop the country's football. So you get competent managers also. Because this short-term cap लाओ players को interest लेके आओ, ISL बढ़ेगा, it will be the new league structure, I League को खा जाएगा in the end, cannibalize कर देगा, अच्छा manager आएगा, football का quality improve होगा. We are 5% there, if at all.
See, it's a catch-22.
But that's what I'm saying, because you guys have said something very rightly, right? Both of you said this, yeah, fans will only come when the team wins something.
Team wins, yeah.
But we've also said this, the team cannot win anything because structure is not there. So what is the stopgap in 2024?
Wins. It doesn't have to be a trophy.
Do not win. I mean, for me, sorry, I'll clear. Yeah, winning means making it to the next round, building those short-term projects like you mentioned, attaining those short-term goals. But ये जो system में नहीं होने वाला है, नहीं होगा. आप देख लिया अभी ना. What will suddenly change in 6 months? ठीक है. Against hope, luck favors us. We make it to the third round. That should be a tick because that is what he said he would do.
Yeah.
Well, after that is again that वो paper tape on it ना. We'll again drag on for 2 years. What
See, I think,
how will it matter?
See, that's, I mean, right now the question that everybody is asking, like you rightly pointed out, गए भी तो उसके बाद क्या? I think a lot of questions will be answered, and I'm kind of just jumping ahead. Will also be answered with what happens with the AIFF leadership in the next 6 months or maybe a year. I don't know how long that's going to be dragged on. I mean, for those who don't know, at this point there are allegations against the AIFF president of corruption and so on and so forth, and Supreme Court's now looking into it, and there is every chance that the Supreme Court might ask AIFF to do a fresh set of elections, which means Kalyan Chaubey goes, which means the AIFF leadership might be changed, which also might mean a new head coach. So a lot of questions will be answered basis that. I feel right now, in this current moment of time, for the Chaubey administration, this would have been the right time for them to say, with all the shit that is like the negative publicity in the press that he's getting or his administration is getting, it would have been the right time for him to come out and say, "Nay, I will do the right thing. Maybe sack Igor, make some decisive change." I'm not saying sacking Igor is the only option. Make some decisive, definitive changes.
Yeah.
वो भी नहीं हो रहा है. I mean, probably too soon to say. It's only been 24 hours since the game. But there's every chance that Igor might still not leave because he's still committed that he will take India to the third round, which is technically still possible. Now, we don't have an answer to what's next because now this entire drama had happened 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, when Praful Patel overstayed his tenure for 2 extra years. Supreme Court case hua, India got banned by FIFA. Then you had to have an election.
Bro,
That process took about See, that process took a few months to sort itself out. I don't see this time around it's going to be any different. It's going to probably take as long, if not more. So what next? I think is a question we'll probably have to ask again in 3 to 4 months time. But like I was saying, like third round पहुंचते तो है. Then let's ask that question. Now, is Igor still the right man to take us to the third round? I don't know. I don't think so. Would you? Is the AIFF leadership right now in a position to fire a coach and hire a new coach for a long-term vision? I don't think so. So I think we're stuck where we are.
I think that's also a very fantastic point. I think one thing that fans don't understand, or maybe they do understand, but social media hate and anger leads to engagement and likes and bursts of serotonin. पर इतना आसान नहीं है मैनेजर को सैक करना. बहुत टाइम से हमने देखा है, एंड नॉट जस्ट इन द इंडियन फुटबॉलिंग इकोसिस्टम, बट लेट्स टॉक अबाउट यूरोपियन लीग्स आल्सो. काफी टाइम हम देख चुके हैं कि यार ओनर्स मैनेजर को सैक करते हैं विदाउट अ प्लान, और फिर जो नेक्स्ट मैनेजर आता है वो एक rushed appointment होता है, who turns out to be worse than the predecessor.
He gets thrown into the deep end. You can't do your best work in those circumstances. So there's a lot of these factors that any administrator also has to keep in mind. So again, while it is very easy for us fans to say Stimac needs to go and all, which
to be fair, fans have been saying for a very long time. So the management should have also, kind of maybe looked at
Li-
social media a little bit more.
little.
But filhal, to add on to what Anuj is saying, at this moment with 2 games to go in round 2 of the qualifiers, and I believe we need only one victory to basically go to round 3, if I'm not wrong. I think
Depends on other results,
it
but
depends
yeah.
on other results, but we definitely have to beat Kuwait, because the other game that we have to play is Qatar. So unless a full Chak De India situation happens and we get to see a massive upset, which we will all love, Kuwait is where we need to get those 3 points for sure. और अगर उधर हमने 3 point ना लिए तो खत्म, then it's over.
Yeah.
But with those 2 games to go, sacking Igor right now and bringing in a new manager is not going to make any difference at all, because he is going to, like Anuj said, being thrown into the deep end. Chances are कि वो 2 matches में कुछ कर नहीं पाएगा. Chances are that in that transition period, as is the case with any footballing team, club or country, you're not going to get the result that you wanted, right? And then the blame is going to be on the new manager. Let's say Ashley Westwood आता है Afghanistan to India as a hypothetical situation, and India still lose the next 2 matches. Then people are going to be out for Ashley Westwood's head also. कि यार you couldn't, we couldn't go and we couldn't go to the third round and all of that. Now what are we going to do? So then when his real work starts after being disqualified from the World Cup, he's starting off on a very bad note. He's starting off on a very bad morale within the camp and within the supporters as a whole, and that's not a
Plus,
great
plus
place
he
for a
won't
manager
know.
to be.
Yeah, plus he won't know if the people who hired him are still going to be around. There
Yeah,
might be somebody else who may not want him.
correct.
सबको अपना अपना बंदा रहता है, राइट? वहाँ पे
Yeah,
एक्चुअली
absolutely.
ग्रेट पॉइंट यू सेड अबाउट एशली बैशवुड. लुकिंग एट फैंस नाउ, बहुत सोशल मीडिया तो रिएक्शनरी है ही. अरे यही तो अच्छा था, इसको लेके आना चाहिए, उसको इंडियन फुटबॉल के बारे में मालूम है, वो इंडिया में इतनी टाइम पे रहता था, ये वो आ जाएगा. हाइपोथेटिकली अनुज ने थोड़ा स्टार्ट ऑफ द ये लाइव के बोला था, तो मुझे इट जस्ट स्ट्रक मी अगेन राइट नाउ. एज अ शॉर्ट टर्म फिक्स, इट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज डूएबल. Why not make your national team play better opposition? तो क्या वो हार गए?
That's not the
Right?
answer. According to me.
In friendlies, like ऑस्ट्रेलिया को एक बॉल लेके आओ. See how you're competing day in India तो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मतलब 5 ब्रेक है, फ्रेंडलीज है. तुम बार बार जो तुम्हारे टीम, तुम्हारे लोअर, तुम्हारे से भी लोअर जो है, अभी तो वो अफगानिस्तान के साथ ही हार गए, समझो, रैंकिंग में. How much will you improve playing against those teams, right?
See, I think that's the thing. As a national team, there is no identity to us, and it is very hard to drill an identity into a national team, which I admit. But you look at the level of inconsistency that we've had. We've lost yesterday to Afghanistan's practically their third string team. उसके पहले you've lost to what do you say? You've drawn against Afghanistan. You've had slight glimpses of some decent performance in the Asian Cup. That first half against Australia, everyone will say was very
Yeah.
good. But then you've also not been very consistent. उसके पहले भी मतलब SAF Cup again, you beating Pakistan, beating Vanuatu in the Intercontinental Cup is not really something. So I think first we need to establish, let's climb the ladder slowly, right? First you establish as a clear favorite or the clear powerhouse in your region, which for India is the South Asian region. तुम उसमें ही अगर तुम मतलब if you're not being able to show consistency or the Central Asian region, it's in principle, Annie, what you're saying is correct. If you play better or better teams, तुम improve होंगे. But you need to show some consistency. बड़ी teams हमको खेलेंगे भी.
At this point, you're jumping the gun. No, you're going one step ahead.
I'm trying to link this
Like
to
you
my
said,
earlier point, Anuj, sorry. कि in the short run again, तुम लोग क्या कर सकते हो to bridge the marketability of Indian football at a low. यहाँ पे लीग नहीं लेके आ रहा है viewers, नए fans, national team नहीं लेके आ रहा है. You
see
market it in a
the
different way.
beautiful the beautiful part about international football is you actually don't need any marketing. And especially in a country like India, जहाँ पे अभी देशभक्ति is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
If you win and win like respectably, You won't need it. मैं वही बोला ना कि you don't need the Adidas campaign. You don't
Yeah,
need
yeah,
a billboard with Sunil or Gurpreet or Changte or Apuya or whoever. If you win one game, kal for example, yesterday, Guwahati at 7:30 in the evening, and especially where the Indira Gandhi Stadium is, I've been there plenty of times myself. It is 25 kilometers outside the city. There is very little public transport to go back into the city at 9:30 in the night.
Hmm.
8,500, 9,000, whatever number of people that came out, that is a great number for Guwahati. Their own local team, Northeast United, has had a patchy
Yeah, very bad
time in the
season.
ISL. Huh. I wouldn't say very bad. There have been some very good games. The coach, the new coach that they have is very good, but separate topic.
Yeah,
For Guwahati to show up at 7:30 with 8,500, 9,000 people is good. Now imagine if India would have won that game away in Saudi, the first reverse fixture of this against Afghanistan. Say India had come out of that 3-0 win with as 3-0 winners with a comfortable, good performance. Yesterday would have been 15,000.
yeah, yeah.
You don't need a lot of marketing for a national team because तुम्हारा देशभक्ति and especially in a country like India will take you a long way.
Yeah.
And right now in 2024 with social media, with so many new creators coming talking about Indian football, it won't take that long. Or you won't need another Sunil Chhetri to make that हाथ जोड़ के video की
Yeah,
आओगे
yeah,
आएंगे लोग,
for sure,
आएंगे.
for sure.
And I think that is the difference. That was what 2018. That was 4 years of ISL. Now it is 10 years of ISL. I think ISL, being that regular dose of football for a lot of people, has kind of built a space for football in people's head. कि अभी अगर इंडिया अच्छा करेगा आएगा लोग. We won't see empty
Correct.
stadiums anymore.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think now the question really is, how do you make them play well? You just need a coach, you need a manager, you need a supporting system around him who understand how to tackle international football, and it can't be done in the club football style which Igor is asking for, month-long camps,
So,
and because they're not possible.
Amok, what Anuj is saying rightly, कि it's not all doom and gloom. हाँ,
yeah,
प्रॉब्लम तो है, बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, इट्स अ गेपिंग होल. बट देखो मालूम है होल कहाँ पे है, बस वो फिक्स करना है
correct,
फाइनली,
correct.
राइट? इन
Absolutely.
इन ठीक है, चलो एक रैप अप दिस एपिसोड, ज्यादा फिर खींचते नहीं है इसको. Doesn't matter if the coach is there tomorrow morning or not, right? Let's assume coach beyond all odds रहता है, ठीक है? रहता है. अनुज, I know Anuj is like ऐसे, but अभी चलो assume he stays tomorrow. And we do make it to the third round. Like I said, let's not jump the gun, but let's say we do make it. Will we say, okay, let's hold our horses? It was a very bad phase. It was an upset. Maybe we've got something again over here still. Or you're going to still be like, thank you for getting us to third place, but let's shake up this position irrespective of what happens in IIFF.
You're saying
I
in
would
terms
do
of
the latter.
you're saying in terms of the manager?
Yes, I'm saying firstly in terms of manager and secondly in terms of our players, because we have to talk about our players a little bit before we leave now. कि
Yeah.
तुम क्या करोगे यहाँ पे? Because you'll
एक
have
तो-
then new manager gets in a fresher set of players, possibly.
Yes. So I feel that if we do make it to the third round, immediately the morale in the group will pick up. So regardless of the manager, I feel just purely on the base of morale, the boys will be able to put in slightly better performances. Of course, if we are talking about the manager, I would still have Igor gone if we make it to the third. Like, give him the 2 games right now against Kuwait and Qatar and see how he does. And if he gets us into the third round, if he does, sack him. If he doesn't, also sack him. But sack him when you have the replacement ready. So I would suggest start talking to your candidates, start reaching out, start making those calls, start putting things in place. Don't go into a situation where you're like, yeah, we can't sack him now. We
Headless
have to let
chicken,
him be for a few more months because we're still talking to people. Start talking to people now. You should have actually started talking to people many months ago, many years ago.
January में.
Exactly. But start talking to them now. It's still not late. Start talking to them now. And once you have a candidate in place, then see where you're at. If you have a candidate in place after you've reached the third round, pull the trigger, let the new candidate take the team over in round 3 and see how that does. Because, yeah, a new manager bounce in that scenario when we've qualified for round 3 could actually help us. Right?
And there is some significant time before the third round games
Yeah,
too. So
yeah. So the new manager gets enough time to work with this squad, to understand, to meet, and to see enough ISL games, see these players in action for their clubs, see what their strengths are, see what their weaknesses are, where the relationships are, which players work well with which other players. Just get all of that data sorted before you actually get into preparations for round three. But yeah, so I feel that is the way AIFF should go about it.
Correct. Because I feel like one more point people are making on Twitter at least, and yes, we spoke about noise on Twitter. कि ये छोड़ दो, there are younger players coming through, grassroots है. एक तो grassroots पे pressure मत डालो. हमको वो अभी मालूम भी नहीं है कि how good it is or bad it is because वो बहुत fresh है. ISL clubs के भी जो grassroots system in place है, it's fresh. एक वो चीज़ बोलता हूँ कि उन पे pressure मत डालो, या negate करो या positively बढ़ा दो, उसको अपना time दो. Yes, unfortunately, it is frustrating कि हम बोल रहे हैं कि time दो, लेकिन that's something you should actually give time because it could pay dividends. So like Amok said, like Anuj said, possibly to have patience ये squad के साथ. ये करंट सिनारियो है जो हमारा कि होप रखे पहले, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. हम लोग को ऑलरेडी मालूम है कि वर्स्ट सिचुएशन क्या होने वाला है. मैनेजर का ऑलरेडी बोल दिया कि रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ व्हाटएवर है कि कीप अ प्लान बी रेडी. एंड एज फैंस ट्राई करें, एंड समथिंग आई पर्सनली आल्सो डू, राइट, just try watching your local clubs more. Try keeping your morale up high. How
Oh,
else are you going to be like? Yeah,
100%.
how else are you going to
just plug in for every whoever's still survived with us for an hour and 20 minutes. The ISL title race this year is the best it has ever been.
I was coming to वही बोल दे.
So
It is
yeah.
mental.
So 4 clubs, anyone can win. I'm saying your clubs, your local clubs are doing well. They're doing whatever they can at their level. Watch them. Yeah, the players, like, not unfortunately, I would say, but circumstantially are going to remain the same. There is only, I would say, a pool of 60 odd players who are like maybe qualified for the national team or capable of playing for the national team. 70 at best. So even if the new coach comes in, it's not going to be a larger, very like 100, 200, 300 players that he needs to go through. So watch these players, familiarize yourself with them, watch them in stadiums if you can. And I think nothing helps better than what Danny said, right? Commercially viable अगर होना है sport को तो eyeball चाहिए.
Yeah.
Eyeballs कैसे आएंगे आप अगर stadium जाओगे तो. If you go to the
Yeah.
stadium, if you support, even if it's on TV.
Basically, keep watching your ISL games, keep watching your team, keep doing what we're doing, and then because we're doing so much, फिर demand करो players से कि हम लोग तो हम ही हमारा कर रही है, अभी तुम लोग करके तो दिखाओ.
Yeah. And
Right?
so, I mean, Anuj knows this. Anuj has been with Mumbai City FC for a while before that, and I also started doing the lives for Mumbai City FC because Anuj brought me on for that, and that's going well. But regardless of my allegiances professionally and personally to Mumbai City FC, because even without that, I am a Mumbai City FC fan. It's a local club after all. Yaar, watching a game in the stadium is unparalleled. Because I know a lot of people might be thinking, and a lot of Indian football fans might be thinking, यार ISL की quality, Indian players कैसे खेलते हैं, it's a slow paced game of football, यार प्रीमियर लीग देखते हैं हम लोग, ला लीगा देखते हैं, वहाँ कितने फास्ट खेलते हैं, कितने टेक्निकल प्लेयर्स होते हैं. हाँ भाई होते हैं, that is all reality and I understand. पर when you go to your local club stadium, regardless of how big or how small it is, you go to your local team stadium और आप जाते हो, and I say this to everyone I meet, कि when you walk up those steps and you see the pitch for the first time now, that feeling that you get, bro, as a
It
football
never gets
fan,
old. It never gets old.
never gets old. मैं हर बार जब भी मुंबई फुटबॉल अरीना जाता हूँ, I've been there so many times now. Every time I go there, the first thing I'll do is, and before the team buses even come in, I'll go up and I'll take my first look at the pitch, and I'm like, I feel so happy inside, like just as a genuine lover of the game. You feel so happy that you're that close to a pitch where people are actually going to professionally play in front of you. And then to watch the game live now is just a mad experience. Because जब तुम्हारी team score करती है, तो that feeling of euphoria that you collectively feel because of the vibe in the stands, you cannot match it. And some of you might have been lucky to go watch a game at Old Trafford or Anfield or wherever your European club plays, and you might have felt that. I guarantee you, being a local club, this feeling is slightly better. क्योंकि तुम जब मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के ग्राउंड में जाते हो, and we are all United fans here, and we've all been to Old Trafford, and we all loved that experience. But when you go there ना, that identity is not there. कितना भी सोचो, identity नहीं होती है वो. जो वो मैनचेस्टर बॉर्न फैंस गा रहे हैं स्ट्रैटफोर्ड एंड में, us being 7,000 kilometers away, we might try and sing it like them, and we might enjoy singing it like them, but that identity is not there. But when you're in your local team's stadium here in India, watching them in the ISL or even I League, that identity is there and just makes the experience that much better. So please go out to your local stadiums, your local team, and just start watching them live. Tickets are also quite easy to get. They're quite cheap also.
Easy.
It's not like they're exorbitant. So just do it. It's a great night out. और football के game तो 90 minutes का होता है यार. It's just a very simple evening. Get drinks after. Have a great time.
Yes, मुंबई में स्पेशली यू हैव द मेट्रो यार, कनेक्टिविटी बहुत आसान है. उसके बाजू में रोडास ब्लूज है, रॉक म्यूजिक है, बियर है,
सब है.
Kamal Chai as well.
you know,
कमल छाया भी है.
I'd like to promote Kamal Chai here.
Yes.
But to the point वही है यार, you know, Amog rightly said. I mean, it's very true. I went to Old Trafford one time, was lucky enough. Lekin just hearing those vada pav, misal pav chants were actually just so much fun. Like you said, na, relativity, it's something so stupid. But
Yeah.
you can easily relate to that. Yeah, you're laughing for 20 minutes while the game is going on. जो वहाँ पे like देखना यहाँ पे like अरे you are actually enjoying with someone who kind of gets you more than what you got over there. Very well put over there. But yeah, chalo, thank you both of you for joining me on this while Mumbai Indians is playing. And thank you everybody in the chat who was commenting. I know कि अभी के लिए फिलहाल IPL आज important है, but at least some of you showed कि Indian football के बारे में y'all give a shit. And yeah, both of you again, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of both of them doing this. Assuming we make it to the third round or in general, we will be expanding.
Check back in with us in 6 months if AIFF is still around. If Igor is still around.
Yeah.
नहीं, लेकिन but I
think
want
we should do this once every 6 months.
Yeah.
नहीं. Indian football तो expand होने वाला है football bloody hell पे, तो
और हम regularly करते जाएंगे यार.
Yeah.
करना पड़ेगा अभी, right?
Happy to be here.
Yes. We can't tell everybody else go watch the stadium, feel the chills and be like, हाँ, लेकिन मैं तो स्टेट घर पे बैठ के टीवी में हम लोग कुछ करेंगे. You both obviously have done your bit. This is a dig at myself, nobody else. You can't tell anything to these two guys.
It's okay. You're a new father. You're a new father, and it's fine. It's fine. Excuse.
I mean, I don't know if you'll notice this in the middle of the stream. I've actually gone fully deaf in 1 year. That's why I've been doing this and all, because I'm fully gone. Like it's gone. Like I don't know what sickness my child gave me. I'm gone. Like. But anyway, chalo.
It's Annie's bedtime.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, and we'll be doing more of this.
Thank you for having us.
Comment. Yes. Leave a like, subscribe.
Dalo. I love that.
Oh, I didn't do